why are we doing this? Where's the opportunity? What's happening in tech? The good news for you guys is that the sector's absolutely exploding, going crazy, and the growth in the sector is exceeding every other sector in the UK and probably globally, I'd say. Charlie, if you just go on one. There are stats behind it. The sector in the UK is now worth over $1 trillion. It's third, just behind US and China globally. It's punching above its weight. For the UK, the size of the economy that we have, it's a massive success story. It is now, and I didn't realize this until I started researching this deeply, that it is the biggest employing sector in the UK. That black line in the top right there, that's too small to read. It's above healthcare, it's above retail, it's above construction, it's above engineering, it's above everything else. Well in the lead of everything else as a sector, and in the speed that it's growing. It employs around 5 million people, which is about 14% of the UK entire workforce. It's grown by 66% since 2019, and you'll know the pandemic absolutely boosted this. Everything went online. Everyone needed a tech function. Every company became a tech company in some shape or form. And there's jobs in tech companies. There's jobs that are not in tech companies, and tech jobs in non-tech firms. So there are millions of vacancies every single year, but 100,000 vacancies go unfilled monthly, according to Tech UK report, a recent report from the sector skills body. So there's a huge shortage of skills, and that's good news for you guys, because there's a real need for new talent to come through. If we just push on. So I've been working on a project called the Local Skills Plan, where I had to do this whole research project on skills and tech, and that's what led me in some way down this path. And I spoke to employers, and the message they were giving me was really, really consistent, that there's not enough new talent entering the market, that the skills of people leaving schools and universities are not providing them with the right skills to be work ready, whether that's the technical skills or it's the pace of work, or just keeping up with the pace of change in the sector. And employers were telling me over and over they're having to train new staff from scratch. Every time they take on someone new, they're saying basically, to some extent, forget what you've learned, because I'll teach you the real stuff right now. So that's not an ideal situation for employers. But it also provides some sort of leveling out, and it also provides an opportunity for someone who hasn't been through a tech career to be able to learn the new skills. There's a feeling that qualifications at school or college and university are too long, they're quickly out of date, and it's hard to recruit and retain staff. There's also a real lack of diversity in the tech workforce and in tech education. I've got some pretty stark figures, all of these from different national studies. Women make up only 19% of the UK tech workforce, and that's less at board level. It's about 16%. Only 8% of the tech workforce is from an ethnic minority. Only 1% of venture capitalist funding goes to all female teams, and I think the figures are really low, even for having one female founder as well. Only 10% of digital apprentices are female. And this is just from Sussex data that I got, but I think it's even worse nationally, that 77% of all starters on digital courses at 16 to 18 are white boys. So it's no surprise that there's a diversity issue when it's just not coming through the pipeline in schools, and something's got to change. And I think that's part of the mission that TechNative has. And I know Diverse Sussex, that Silicon Brighton run as well, is about changing that and helping more female tech leaders come through, having people from diverse backgrounds come through. So you want to get into tech, there are opportunities, but the language can be alienating. It can be not inclusive if you don't understand it. I'm not going to go through all these jobs here today, but what I hope we'll do across the course of these meetups is start to look at each one of these kind of sub areas and bring people in. So today is much more of a broader look at careers, but there's business analysts, software architect, product manager, scrum masters, UX design, software developers, testers, QA engineers. It's hard to know if you're not in it exactly what all that could mean. And hopefully we can help break down some of those barriers today, and you can ask some of our lovely guests some questions. Also interesting statistic that way more than a third of jobs in the tech sector are actually non-technical. So there's this image of who goes into tech, I think, certainly from careers advisors and schools, about a certain type of person that goes into tech. That's total rubbish. There's all these jobs up here that actually don't require the technical skills, maybe understanding the language and understanding how tech teams work. But product managers, UX designers, copywriters, even just operations management and product marketing and branding and social media and marketing and so on. There's big gaps across the board in all these jobs. So you don't have to be a coder. You don't have to be a certain type of engineer to get into tech. There's jobs across the board. Thanks, Charlie. So I think what are the skills that are going to help you succeed? The truth is, and the message from employers that we hear over and over, and I'll ask these guys when they come up, it's actually your teamwork, and it's actually your problem solving and your ability to communicate and your ability to present an idea and influence people. It's your resilience, your mental resilience, that is actually going to help you. And this is what I would encourage you to think about when you think about what's your superpower, what's your key strength. It's not necessarily that you've learned Java or you can program in a certain language. It's going to be these skills that get you into work and persuade an employer that you're worth their investment and their time. And but also, again, it's an opportunity. These are cross-transferable skills, and if you're crossing from another sector, your leadership skills, your management skills, your communication skills, your teamwork skills, they're huge valued assets that you can bring with you. So be aware of that and be confident about those skills when you're trying to get into work or talking to an employer or putting your CV together or your LinkedIn profile. So again, don't want to speak for the employers. So this is just consistent feedback from employers about what they're looking for, and continued lifelong learning, I think, is key to pushing forward into a career in tech. It's never ending, the learning, and I think you guys will all know that tech's moving really, really fast. It changes all the time, and actually being able to teach yourself through online low-cost programs. There's loads out there like Code Academy or Code First Girls run amazing programs for women in tech, or low cost on Udemy, LinkedIn Learning. There's boot camps. There's lots of boot camps now that are free to take. I've just listed some there: School of Code, Makers, had to put TechNative on there as well. But there's lots of opportunities for boot camp programs that are linked into work and help you get into work. Not to forget digital apprenticeships, that are a really good pathway in for many. It might not be the right route for you. It might be the right route for you. It completely depends on the employer and everything else. And check out, there's loads of online careers resources, and stay on top of all the latest information on those. Go on, Charlie. So, and also, just make sure you get out there. So congratulations for tonight. You have got out there. And yay. It's really important that I think it's so important to have a community of people that you can talk to, rely on, learn from, and also help each other, find opportunities. And so that's what we're trying to do here, trying to build a community, and Silicon Brighton do a brilliant job of that. And I'd encourage you to look at their other meetups as well in your specialist area and attend those. There's always beer and pizza, which is literally a great reason to go, but they're also really good, and there's also like just great people turn up and chat. There's the Slack group, as Grace said, but there's also other Discord groups, there's Reddit groups, just Google tech tech blogs and so on. Start making stuff at home. It's amazing how many people I talk to and they say, oh yeah, I've been working on this little project, but they don't tell the employer when they go in there, looking for a job, about what they're doing. Shout about what you're doing, create a LinkedIn profile, put all your cool stuff on there. It's about your passion. It's about your independence and your independent thinking. Follow other experts, bloggers, and industry sites, like I was saying, like Twitter as well. And don't be afraid to contact employers. Be proactive and put yourself out there, and be bold. It will bring dividends. People like it, and they want to help you.